Right, Peter, let's start with the Liverpool Crystal Palace game. Some controversial moments in that. First of all, Salah going down quite cheaply. Would you have given a penalty, or would you have booked Salah for diving, or done neither?
Again, we've spoken about Mo Salah in previous episodes, and I think since Boxing Day, Liverpool have been awarded 4 penalty kicks. All for Salah. And there have been fouls, and I've argued his case in previous episodes. However, on Saturday, he has gone down. There has been contact. John Moss, the referee, perfectly positioned there to see that the contact wasn't sufficient to make him fall over, and he has fallen over. I do think that Salah doing that, he's raising his profile. And if he raises his profile, that means the authorities start looking at it. If the authorities start looking at it, then the referees are aware of things as well. It may work against him coming forward into the latter part of this season.
Then Milner got sent off, 2 yellow cards. Nothing wrong with that, was there?
No, I don't think so. No, again, I think John Moss was perfectly correct in issuing the 2 yellow cards. The one thing, though, that the first yellow card was for a short sliding challenge. Milner knew that he was late on the ball, accepts his yellow card. But the second one, with a minute to go, he's dangled his leg in the hope of getting something on the ball, leaving his leg out there, he's taking the risk, and he's received his second yellow.
Before the game, you'd have thought Zaha, the most fouled player I think you've mentioned in the Premier League, up against Milner, who's playing at right back. That was always going to be a problem for Liverpool.
Well, yes, but I mean, down to a tactical element there, who would Liverpool play at right back? But playing Milner against Zaha with 10 minutes to go, and he's on a yellow card already, from a coach's point of view.
You may need to change that. And then the fourth goal, the one that actually decides the game. Robson handballs it to start with. The ball might have also gone out of play. Mane then goes on and scores to make it 4-2. Is it the referee's fault, or is it the assistant referee's fault?
I can understand why Crystal Palace have come out and said they're unhappy with it. It was the deciding goal, really, in the game. John Moss, referee, perfectly positioned, would not have been able to adjudicate on it because it was his blind side. However, his assistant referee, who was the right side of it, Mark Perry, should have seen it. I've looked at this still frame. I think at that split second, he's looking infield. Why he's looking infield, I don't know, because there's no offside because the ball's up there. So he should have been focused on where the ball was along the line to see if the ball was going out of play.
And VAR would have looked at that because it's a goal, so they'd look back at it and that would have been disallowed.
Absolutely right. If VAR had been there at Anfield on Saturday, the goal would have been scored. Before the goal had been awarded, they'd have looked back in that attacking phase of play to see there's nothing happening in that phase of play. They would have picked up the handball and disallowed the goal.
The Wolves-Leicester game, you're going to bore me with one of your old stories here, aren't you, about when you were a referee? But you can tell me about that anyway.
Well, it's ironic that the game ended on Saturday 4-3. The last time these two sides met was way back in 2003 when a really young referee was making his debut in the Premier League. Yes, making his debut in the Premier League. The same result, 4-3. Leicester were 3-0 up at half-time and Wolves brought it back to 4-3.
But what about Santos coming on the field and getting sent to the stands or sent to wherever he gets sent to?
Well, yes. You can appreciate that sometimes managers, coaches, they get emotionally attached to the game and they want to show their emotion. But there comes a time when you've got to say, well, enough's enough. And on Saturday, yes, he scored the fourth goal. Yes, he was excited. He came around the field, onto the field as well.
But the bigger point is it's the same referee that didn't send off Klopp when he came on against Everton.
Yes, if you remember, Chris Kavanagh, the referee on Saturday, who I thought had an excellent game, by the way, he sent Santos off. I think probably he's had some kind of education from not sending Klopp off at the Everton derby game.
So that's why Santos suffered.
Santos, I'm afraid, suffered because probably Klopp should have suffered early in the season.
Go to the Arsenal-Chelsea game. There was a moment, Alonso in the box on Maitland-Niles, throws an arm at him, lifts his arm, pushes him, you can say what you want about it. Will that be looked at by the FA?
Well, the referee on the day didn't see it, didn't act on it, and therefore that leaves it open for the authorities to have a look at. And I think the authorities will look at it just because, Will
he be banned?
No, I don't think it reaches the threshold. Probably a telephone call on Monday morning to the Arsenal.
That's a real worry, isn't it? A telephone call. That's going to sort them out.
It won't necessarily sort them out, but at least it'll raise that profile. And I do think that the authorities will have a look at it and probably, have a little word.
Pogba wins a penalty against Brighton for Manchester United. Bong was the player that sort of brought him down or held him as well. Is that right, the penalty decision?
How many times have we seen penalties given and we've said, that's a soft decision? We've seen it time and time again. Defenders are obviously defending very, very closely nowadays. Referees are interpreting the fact that they're being impeded by being too close to them and awarding a penalty kick or a free kick. And again, we saw again on Saturday, Pogba there and Bond. Yes, there's contact. Yes, there's minimal contact, but it's enough to impede Pogba.
What I liked about the referee, he just took his time. He took a second or two just to have a little think about it, what he'd seen, and then gave the penalty.
Which is good refereeing, of course.
So.
Good refereeing that he's allowed himself that thinking time. And again, that thinking time is no more than a split second, just to have a think through it, see where he is, and award that penalty kick. The players, I think, respect that. They don't want judgment calls being made just like that. They want judgment calls being made when people think about it.
You've had a go at one assistant referee in the Liverpool game. You're now going to have a go at another one in the Watford-Burnley game. Wood scores what would have been the winner. Sean Dyche is very unhappy. He thinks it was onside. What's your view?
Well, I'm not having a go. All I'm doing is I'm stating the facts here, Stuart.
See, now you've retired, you have a go at everybody.
No. I'm stating the facts here, and I think that Sean Dyche has every cause to be upset. His side, they're not necessarily struggling, but they need points. They need points on the board, and that winner that was scored after 90 minutes or so should have given him an extra 2 points. It didn't, because the assistant referee had judged the player to be offside when the ball's shot. It's parried by the goalkeeper, comes out to him and scores again. When you look at freeze frame, you can clearly see that he's onside. The goal should have stood.
And that's why everybody wants VAR. Well, not everybody, but most people want VAR.
I agree.
There's Peter Walton not sitting on the fence this week. That's unusual for him.